have absolutely no criticism of the actual conduct of the elections. The officials let us know that there was nothing to hide. Once we showed our label as international observers, we were allowed to observe everything. We noticed the cooperation among the party agents. You will have thought you were dealing with members of the same family. They were actually helping each other out. We were impressed with that. The conduct of the security forces, impeccable. I continually said to Ayo, just look at the faces of the security men and women. Come on, they are friendly. You know, they were not frowning at anybody. And they were so helpful to us as observers and helpful to the voters. So, sir, your security forces are a credit, not only to this nation, but to Africa as well. My attitude is always to say things that I saw, not what somebody told me. And I'm perfectly comfortable having it on record. In fact, the Secretary General will have it no other way. Because the role of the Commonwealth is to engage its members, to make the Commonwealth a better organization, and to make its members themselves subscribe fully and embrace the values of the Commonwealth, to which the members themselves are the creators of those values. And so when I'm involved in an exercise like this, where I really can beat my chest and be able to report positively, I am at my happiest. So I was saying that the IEC deserves commendation for the way they conducted themselves and the whole process. We had a meeting with them, Mr. President, because we consulted all around with stakeholders. And the chairman of IEC made it very clear to us that he wanted to provide a level playing field for all political parties. And he told us the step that he had taken ensured that not only the government but the opposition have access to GRTs, and that they can get their message across. And also whenever there were protests, steps which he took to address this. I think there are lots of election management bodies in Africa who should take a leaf from what has happened here. Finally, sir, I must also commend the actual system that was used. This will be the first country I will actually experience the use of the marbles. And
you have been using that since independence?
Sir, this will be the first election I will come here to observe. So I really didn't know. And I kept asking Ambassador, okay, how does it work? How does it work? And I must say, sir, I was not convinced it would work until I actually observed and experienced it. We had, each time you drop that marble, we had the sound. And, you know, we will move just for us to pace ourselves to see whether there will be a place where we will not hear the sound. No, we heard the sound. And we also ensured, or shall I say, we were convinced that each drum sounded the same. Yes. So you couldn't tell anyway which people voted. Again, I mean, one must congratulate Gambia for this. And of course, since when we criticize, it's the president we criticize. I think when we praise, it is also the head of the Gambian family who's responsible at the end of the day for signing the laws into effect that, you know, we should praise. Mr. President, sir, anything done by human beings can never be perfect because we are not God. There will always be room for improvement. But you have been strengthened, sir, by not only the 82%, 83% turnout, without compulsion. I think people ought to know that. In Australia, if you don't vote, you are penalized. So I kept asking the voters, if you don't vote, is there a penalty? And they kept telling me, no, there is no penalty. There's even no way the government will know whether we voted or not. They were there because they have an investment in the progress of this country. They empowered you, Mr. President, by the massive turnout. They empowered you by the percentage of the votes that you got from the votes that were cast. Forgive me for speaking openly, Mr. President, but I'm an African. I'm in an African country. So
speak openly.
Thank you, sir.
What our shortcomings and where we excel. It's very important.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Anything that will make it better, anything that we observe that is below standard, you let us know, because I'm here for the people. Yes. And I will not be here against the will of the people. Yes.
Thank you.
Because it's important, things that will facilitate Gambians being better able to express their constitutional right to choose. You know, when you look at even our Vision 2020, the preamble to the Vision 2020 clearly stipulated that Gambia to be governed by a system of government that is elected by the people of this country. Yes. So you can go ahead. There are no gray areas as far as I'm concerned.
We noticed that your overwhelming percentage score was not limited to any particular area. It was nationwide. In other words, Mr. President, you have a national mandate. A national mandate to address some of the areas that we have noticed. We believe, sir, that with your accomplishment, the next 4 or 5 years in this country, we would like to see a more opening out of the democratic space. We believe this is what that mandate, that overwhelming mandate from the people, that is what it had empowered you to do. A widening of the space to allow, it justifies the mandate. It justifies your strength. There are other countries where maybe to be 49% that of this, and then you could say, well, one is not sure. But in this particular case, sir, you're absolutely sure your mandate is overwhelming to do great things for Gambia. And that area is one area that we thought we'd like to see. Secondly, the youth have an investment in you, Mr. President. We spoke to them. And we notice again the massive turnout of these young people. They were people, some of them were used as party agents, some of them were used by the IEC. They were there, sir, from 6 o'clock in the morning. Well, I mean, I'm an old man. I finally left to go to bed. They were still there. This is something, Mr. President, you should tap into. They have needs, employment needs, capacity building for them. Because when they look up to you, sir, they will also ask, what we have seen reciprocated? Not only what they did for you as president, but their investment in the process and in the system which you laid out for them. I thought that I should bring this to your attention. The Commonwealth is there. It has vast experience in these areas, always as a willing partner in developing and addressing these issues. I thank you so much, sir, for your patience and for, again, the friendly disposition, even when I was pointing out areas where I felt needed more attention. Ajo, is there anything I've left out?
We were here in July to run a workshop, a media forum, with the journalists in the Gambia.